What's up, everyone? This is Jim Davis, and it's Christmas time. Time to relax and do a holiday cube draft. Cube drafting is a format I like a lot, and I have some personal disagreements with the Magic Online cube. I don't think it's designed terribly well, but hey, it's there and it's still fun. And we're gonna jump into a cube draft queue. So we're gonna hop right in there. And sweet. Now, one of the things I've noticed about the Magic Online cube, as opposed to my cube and other cubes I've played, is that it's kind of mid-rangey, and there's a lot of sort of the mid-range, like, must-answer threats, like Hero of Bladehold, or Master of the Wild Hunt, or Archangel of Thrune, cards that, I mean, those latter two cards are not in my cube. Cards that are basically have to be answered within a turn or two, or you get in big trouble, and they also cost about 4 or 5 mana. So it's a lot of like mid-rangey big spells kind of just bashing into each other. And it's also interesting too because the cube is powered, so you have kind of crazy blowout games with Black Lotuses or Mana Crypt, which I think is absolutely insane. Soul Ring, Moxes, yada yada yada. There's still a combo element to the cube. You can definitely do like the channel Eldrazi deck, you can do Show and Tell decks, Sneak Attack decks, Reanimator 2. However, the cube is pretty big, and there are a lot of those mid-rangey cards I mentioned, which can make drafting, or I should say crafting, a deck like that, it makes it a little bit difficult. So, I've done a few drafts so far. I just won one with a mono white deck that didn't seem great. It was kind of just a bunch of good cards, and obviously I won the draft. My previous two decks had been really, really excellent. Like great mana curve, Wasteland, Strip Mine. One was a red-green deck with a bunch of mana acceleration, a bunch of creatures. It was very, very good. Let me see if I can get a picture of that for you guys. There we go. So this was a deck I drafted last night. I was extremely happy with it, and obviously I lost in the first round. And who knows, you know, it happens sometimes, but this deck had a lot of the things that I like to have in a cube draft deck. We had early mana acceleration, we had good mid-rangey creatures, we had 2 Moxes, which is sweet, we had this excellent mana denial package of Port, Strip Mine, Wasteland, Winter Orb, Avalanche Riders, Lodestone Golem, Acidic Slime. We had a big top end. This deck looked like one of the better cube decks I've ever drafted on Magic Online. Lost round 1, who knows. The mono white deck I just won with didn't look very good at all, 3-0'd. That's how it goes sometimes. But it's fun, it's good times. You can see in that deck I had a Mind Twist I chose not to play, even though I had a Bayou and a Badlands. The deck just seemed too good. I had a Wheel of Fortune on my board, that might have been wrong, but who knows. One of the fun things about cube is you can basically defend any choice or pick, and because it's very, very open-ended. Alright, so here we go. So let's see what we got. We got Tinker, which in my opinion is one of the more powerful cards in the cube, and you can definitely end a lot of games by tinkering turn 2 for a Sundering Titan or whatever. We have a Time Twister, a piece of power. Time Twister is not as good in this cube as it is in my personal cube. In my cube is not powered, but I do have effects like Time Twister and Wheel of Fortune, and they're very, very good because the mana costs of my cube is much, much lower than the Magic Online cube. There are many fewer 4-drops and 5-drops, 6-drops, so much easier to use the refill effect of Time Twister. And my cube also supports combo decks, which Twister can help as well. So Twister is not nearly as good in this cube. Fire Blast is probably one of the best mono red cards you can have. There are no other red cards in this pack. That is a very, very defensible pick. I think I'm going to take a Tinker, but you could easily take Fire Blast and have that be right. And to be honest, there are many other cards you could take in this pack and have it also be right. But we're going to take this Tinker and try and wheel this Tezzeret here. Now, it's kind of a trap because one of the things I've noticed in this cube is that the artifact deck is not terribly well supported, but there are Moxes and there are Sundering Titans, and it's just a very, very easy way to win games. So, next pack we have the best card by far is Dark Confident. And the thing is, though, again, with this cube, the curve is a bit higher, and there's a lot of more mid-rangey kind of threats, which makes Dark Confident worse. If your deck's full of 4 and 5 drops, and not going to be closing out the game quickly, obviously Bob is not the best thing you can be doing. In my cube, Dark Confident's absolutely insane. because again, lower mana curve. But so Dark Confidence is very good. Doesn't really match our Tinker very well. Brain Freeze, the Storm deck is pretty hard to do in this cube. It's just too big. Might be fun to try for the purposes of the video. Maybe we'll just do that. But in this case, I wouldn't want to pick it now. I would want to take this memory jar, wheel it, and hopefully wheel the Time Twister as well. I feel like I'm locking myself into this. Alright guys, I guess let's have some fun. I'm gonna take the jar. We're gonna try and take this brain to get this brain freeze going. And this is one of the things about, oh yeah, we're in business. Ooh, wow. So one of the things about cube drafting is it's very, very important to speculate your picks. When you're drafting, even when you're drafting a regular set, but when you're drafting the cube, you're going to take a Stoneforge Mystic with no equipments. You're going to take a Storm card with no enablers yet. You're going to take sort of these speculative picks. This happens with fetch lands a lot, where you're playing blue-white and you see a Windswept Heath, and you don't have any dual lands yet, but again, you're going to speculate that you might get one, so you make a speculative pick and take it. So here we have, this is pretty good for our combo deck we're brewing here. We have a Time Spiral, which is one of the best cards you can have in the combo deck. Palinchron and Dream Calls are also very good, as is Ritual if you go the Storm route, like the Ritual Storm route. I'm taking Time Spiral here. Hopefully we'll table one of these, and these next about 10 picks are really going to help us decide what we're going to be doing, because we're going to see if the Brain Freeze and the other cards are tabling. If not, we're going to have to jump ship, obviously. But so we got a Frantic Search, another excellent card for the Storm deck. So ideally now what we're looking for is Storm deck. We're looking for mana artifacts. Tolarian Academy would be extremely ideal, so we have the untap effects. We're looking for enablers. We're looking for card draw. Probably want to be black and blue. If you can get Tutoring, Vampiric Tutor, Imperial Seal, the Rituals, if possible. But right now we're going to stay the course. Frantic Search. Notice that we are passing Sword of Light and Shadow, the worst sword in my opinion by far. Survival's pretty good, whatever. One of the things about cubing also is that it's very good to just go all in. You miss sometimes, but whenever you hit it, your deck is very, very good. Okay, so this pack has basically nothing for us. The only card that we can consider is Garruk Wildspeaker, which seems a little strange, but it's actually very, very good in the Storm deck, because it's an untap effect. If you combine it with a Tolarian Academy, or Bounce Lands, or Heartbeat of Spring, you can go the blue-green Storm deck, where you're using the Heartbeat of Spring, or double lands, and your untappers to generate your Storm count. So, Force Spike's the only blue card here. That's not going to cut it. We have a lot of kind of mediocre beatdown creatures. Grave Titan is actually one of the best finishers in the entire cube. It's pretty hard to lose if you untap with a Grave Titan in play, but we're not doing that. So, yeah, we're going to take the Garruk and maybe look at going into the green Storm deck with a backdoor of just being like a blue-green deck. Okay, now we have Harmonize. Card draw is also very good for the Storm deck, or any sort of combo deck, and there's really no other choice here. Old Man of the Sea is a cool card, but not really helping us. Some Oros lands here. Nicol Bolas is a fun card, but we're already doing other fun things. So, Harmonize is a pretty pick here. Pretty easy pick here. I'm sure it's attractive too, but... Alright, so... Here we come to an interesting pick. We have a Natural Order, which could be a backup plan, where if Brain Freeze doesn't table, we can kind of go into a Natural Order sort of combo deck and kind of stay green. We have a Delta, again, like I was saying, where you can speculate to getting dual lands. If we ever get a Tropical Island, a Polluted Delta is extremely good. It's also a shuffle effect if you get a top or something like that. Or we have Worn Power Stone, which is a pretty good accelerator. It kind of mixes with our artifact theme, and I think that I'm going to go for that. I don't think the fetch land's worth it just yet, and I think I want the artifact. So we're kind of, again, we're sort of playing to a few themes here. Now, so now we have a few more possible cards. Upheaval is an extremely powerful card. And looking at some of the things we're doing so far with our mana acceleration, again, we have a sort of backdoor of if this Brain Freeze doesn't come back, or if this Storm deck doesn't pan out, just casting Upheaval with 5 mana floating is absolutely absurd. So Upheaval is probably going to be our pick here. Prism's kind of Eureka's a cool card, but whatever, and then this stuff is, who cares? So we're going Upheaval. So we're definitely drafting a very fun deck. So that much is assured. Now, we don't want these green cards. I mean, Pilgrim might be okay as an accelerator. Boon Satyr and Call of the Herd, not what we're doing. Bone Splitter's not what we're doing. Disenchant, we don't care. We have Signet, we have Chalice. Now again, one of the things is speculate and look ahead. Mirari's Wake can be an excellent mana flare effect for us. So we have to decide if we want Signet or Chalice. I'm going to take the Chalice. I think that... Ooh, alright, so I think the Chalice sort of is a little more powerful because we could obviously be popping it up for like 3 or 4 and doing some big things with it. We also just play it for 0 and tinker it away. So I think Chalice is a little bit better. Alright, so we got our Brain Freeze. We're all in. We're looking for bounce lands. We're looking for stuff. And let's see, hopefully our... Okay, so our Dream Halls didn't table, which is an interesting one because Dream Halls is a pretty difficult card to use. That would actually probably be very good in our deck if we got another one. The Twister was, I think, last pack, so Twister's not coming back. Maybe it was the next pack, I don't remember. But we're going to Palinchron here as another good untapping effect. Survival. Survival's a good card. I don't know why that's still in there. We're going to hedge here and just take a Bayou. If we end up splashing black for a tutor, again, we're making a speculative pick here. We're not actually black yet, but we could be, so we're going to take that. These cards both stink, and they're just not really worth cutting, so we're going to again take the Badlands. Who knows? We're definitely not playing Battlefield Forge, so we'll take Dipolos and Dungeon Geists. Alright, so right now we have an interesting start to our sort of upheaval-y, combo-y, tinker something deck. And this is one of the things about cube drafting that makes it really, really fun, and very, very interesting too. Like I said, we're very, very speculative at the moment. We're not really, we don't really have anything. We sort of just have some cards that could go somewhere. We don't really know where we're going yet, but that's okay, because the idea is we're going to speculate our picks, take powerful open-ended picks, leave us some back doors, and figure out where we're going as we're going there. So now, we have Tendrils. We don't really want that, I don't think. I don't think you need more than one win condition in your Storm decks. So we don't really need this. I think our real question here for our picks is between Flooded Strand and Karn Liberated. Karn is one of the most powerful cards in the cube. It's extremely powerful. It's obviously difficult to get in play, but it's a very, very powerful card. And we could cast it pretty quickly in this deck, given our Power Stone and our Chalice and so on and so forth. The question is, do we want to cast a Karn? Or because Karn does not help our combo deck at all. I'm going to stay the course here. I think I'm going to just take the Flooded Strand and leave Karn alone. As I said, we're going to commit. That might be wrong, but hey, it's a cube draft. You can basically defend anything. So now we have a Show and Tell, which would have gone nice without Eureka, but not really where we're at. Kozilek, again, not really where we're at. This pack is pretty blank. We have a Wall of Blossoms, which is a nice card actually for the blue-green combo deck. You can stall, draw a card, cycles. It's a good way to stall. Garrick Relentless doesn't really help us at all. Show and Tell doesn't help us at all. We're not casting Kozilek or Primal Command. We're just going to take the Wall of Blossoms here, and hope that we get a few more good cards for this deck. So Wall of Blossoms it is. Alright, Preordain's an excellent card for our deck. It's also a Mox Ruby. Alright. You can't not take a Mox, in my opinion. So we're taking Mox. Mox is insane with Upheaval. Gets to our cards faster. It's insane with Tinker. There's no way you can't take a Mox here. Basically, if you're ever passing an off-color Mox, unless you're like a one-drop deck, I think you're out of your mind. So unfortunately, we're passing Preordain, but whatever. We're happy with the Mox. And also, it'll power up our potential Tellurian Academy. Alright, so now we have a Thran Dynamo or a Basset Monolith. I think Thran Dynamo is much better. We can do a lot of big things with it. We can cast it on turn 2, theoretically, at the moment. I'm just going to go with the Dynamo. We're not looking for a one-shot effect. We're looking for, some big mana, do some big stuff with. I just think Thread Knight is a much more powerful card. So, Dynamodos. Okay, we get a Mind Stone. And little else. Academy Ruins isn't really doing anything for us. So this pack is not going very well for us. We're not really getting any of our pieces. Kind of just looking at some, mid-rangey kind of cards. Some bolts, Masticore, some lands that aren't really helping us. So we're trying to take the Mind Stone and keep going. It's a pretty good card. It's an accelerator. Can cast our Dynamo faster. Attack at the Tinker. Yada yada yada. Just gonna close that. So 1, 2, 3. We're not playing Dungeon Geists. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like 15 playables right now. Alright, so Compulsive Research is very good. Force of Will, we don't really want Force of Will in a deck like this, I don't think. Force of Will is actually, it's not very good, to be perfectly honest. It's a lot better in my cube, where the decks are tighter, and the mana curves are tighter, and you can really take advantage of a tempo it creates. It's fine. You're drawing enough cards to make it worthwhile, or you have an important spell to resolve, it's fine, but it's not nearly the staple as it is in Legacy. Sulfuric Vortex is probably one of the best cards in the cube. It's amazing to see it in this late. But we're looking at either Research or Birds. I think Research here is a pretty easy pick. Okay, now Gilded Lotus is also pretty sweet, and where we're at. Or Brainstorm. Now you can see we made our speculative pick of Flooded Strand earlier. That makes our Brainstorm a lot better. But Brainstorm is also very much like Force of Will, not the format-defining card it is in Legacy in a cube draft. Brainstorm's not that good if you don't have shuffle effects. Like, if Brainstorm was legal in Standard, it probably wouldn't see much play, to be perfectly honest. Unless you were, using some sort of shuffle effects or whatever. But it's just not great. Lotus is very good. I think we're going to go with Lotus. Let's go really, really big. That might be wrong. But we're looking to up our artifact count. Not sure. Turnabout here is an easy pick. Turnabout's pretty good. It's a good. It's an early harvest effect, untap our lens. And again, we're still looking for a Heartbeat of Spring, which would make our deck really, really good. But we don't have it yet. But we're going to take this. Wheel of Fortune is also a possibility. We do have Badlands that isn't helping us. We have Mox Ruby, so sort of an incidental splash. We could even end up abandoning the green and just going blue splashing red. That's actually an option. I'm just going to take the Turnabout, though. That also might be wrong. Alright, there's a Steam Vents. The Tendrils came back. So we just passed probably the red card we'd be most likely to splash. So Steam Vent isn't nearly as valuable. That pick might have been wrong. It's hard to say, because Turnabout's not nearly as good without any sort of double lens or mana effect. I mean, we can untap our artifact mana, which is pretty good, but that might have been wrong. So Tendrils or Steam Vents. I don't think you want Tendrils. We're going to take Steam Vents. We don't want any of these cards. We'll take Maelstrom Pulse. Maybe we can cast off a Bayou. Could have also cut the Tin Street Hooligan there. Tin Street Hooligan's very, very good. If you're ever drafting a red-green aggressive deck, that's one of the cards you really, really want. Yeah, you can take the Crucible. It's an artifact. It's not really good. We don't want any of these cards. So we have a Volcanic Island here. So a red splash right now would be extremely easy. Like I said, unfortunately, we passed probably the most ideal red card. Obviously, don't want these, and this card just sucks. So, a Lodestone Golem, a Falcon Wrath Aristocrat, and a Taiga. We are clearly not playing Aristocrat. Probably not playing Taiga. Lodestone Golem's good again. We'll take a Taiga. Although Lodestone Golem's cool with our artifacts, it also is a Storm's hate card, essentially. And we don't want to play that in our deck. Lion's Eye Diamond is difficult to use, but it's possible. Helix we're not playing. So, right now we're kind of in a weird spot. I have these 3 green cards. I don't think we're really looking at playing them. Also get a Heartbeat of Spring. We have our blue cards. We have some artifacts. We're kind of just in this middle spot of looking for a voice, if you will. Alright, so top is not fantastic. We have one fetch land so far, but again, it's an artifact. We're really hoping to get it to Larian Academy, like begging. Hopefully we can wheel this Impulse. Impulse is pretty good in a deck like this. Excuse me, I've been sick. That's why the video is not on. You don't want to see me right now. So yeah, we're gonna go at the top, and hopefully we'll wheel this Impulse. So yeah. Alright, so we have a Mock Sapphire, which we're taking. And yeah. There's really, I mean, Vidalcan Shackles is very, very good. Doesn't really fit our deck, but Mock Sapphire is just the pick. There's just really no arguing with that at all. Even if we wanted to play Thragtusk or something, or I don't even know. It's a Mox. It's very, very, very hard to defend a non-Mox pick, especially if it's on color. So right now we're not really tinkering for anything huge. We're basically tinkering for our memory jar, kind of like super old school, and trying to do it like that. Now, this is a tough one. We have our Tropical Island, if you want to play green, or we have Fact or Fiction. So the question is, do we want to play green? And this is basically where we're going to make that choice. Fact or Fiction is obviously very, very good. With all of our acceleration, we're going to draw a lot of cards. It's a sweet card. Let's see, how good is this pack? This pack is pretty good. So it is possible that the Tropical Island could wheel. Bitter Blossom's insane. Thalia is very, very good. Garrick's very good. Electrolyze is very good. Wrath is very good. Firebolt's very good. Vengevine's fine. Nicottle's good. So it's possible this Tropical Island could wheel. We're gonna take the Fact or Fiction and probably end up being mono blue with maybe a splash. And we're gonna run it like that, and hopefully we can pan out and get some more stuff. One of the cool things too is we can use our top to increase our storm count if we're drawing extra cards. I don't know if Future Sight is a miscube or not. It's very good with that. Whoa. Let's see. None of these cards are really helping us very much. Phantasmal Image is pretty sweet, but it doesn't really do much for us. Gifts Ungiven, we don't have any sort of regrowths or ways to utilize that. Probably cast Emrakul, to be honest. All these Thran Dynamos and stuff. But honestly, I'm not really sure what the pick is here. I mean, we can use Nostalgia Dreams is actually a very good combo card. But that'll definitely wheel. No one ever plays this card. I'm just gonna take the gifts, I guess. I don't really know. I kind of ran out of time there, to be honest. Alright, so now we get a Battle Sphere. So now here's our Tinker target, if we want it. So, the Trinket Mage 2 is pretty sweet with all of our Moxes and stuff on our top, but I think giving ourselves just the silly you win Tinker target is probably just the best thing to do. Our combo deck's not really coming along as well as I would like, so let's just go for the more powerful option. Alright, we have Mystical Tutor for our Tinker, and now we're a Tinker deck. It's easy as that, really. Scalding Tarn for this, we don't really need that. There's Master of the Wild Hunt, as I mentioned before. So yeah, I mean, this is just like a Mystical Tutor. Also can get our other combo pieces too, so Mystical Tutor is very, very good in this deck. It's often not very good. If you're not playing a combo deck, I do not think you should be playing Mystical Tutor in your deck. But in a combo deck, it's very, very good. So we got Faithless Looting, Is It Charm, Metalworker. Metalworker seems pretty sweet. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're playing... we could splash red, theoretically, but... And Metalworker's got all this to work with, so... let's Metalwork it. Oh boy, how about that? And you see, Now that's called just good stuff. That's a Christmas present. Tolarian Academy in the last possible pack we could get it. This is the last pack of fresh cards we will see in this draft. And we get our Tolarian Academy. So this basically makes our entire deck. Now we can actually combo. Now we can untap our lands, make a bunch of mana, and just go off. So that was an early Christmas present. It is Christmas Eve today, right now, while I'm recording this video. So if it's after Christmas, just know that it was an early Christmas present. Here we're gonna cack one of these anti-artifact cards. Probably this one because it's harder. It's easier to cast. Or you could just cack the 1-drop, but this is fun. Let's count our playables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. These are all lands. I count Moxes as lands. And Crucible's not very playable in our deck at the moment. Alright, so we're going to take Juicy Apprentice and stay mono blue. Alright, that's a reason to splash red. Electrolyze is a pretty sweet card. It slows down the aggro deck, draws a card. We already have 4 red sources. We have a fetch land, 2 duels, and a Mox. So we're just going to pop this Electrolyze off. And this is one of the benefits of, as I was saying, making your speculative picks. We didn't plan on splashing red, but we just picked up dual lands as we got them. And now we can throw a red card in our deck. Where'd it go? There it is. Don't need any of these. No, we're not playing Plateau. We can take the Dreams in case we end up green somehow. I would take the 1-drop here. Typically you want to hate the 1-drops because 1-drops are very, very good for the aggro decks. Smokestacks could be pretty cool. And Silencia Sanctuary. So overall, this draft went pretty well. I think our deck is very high in power level, a little low in consistency. If we had an expedition map to get our Tolarian Academy, that would be ideal. And if we had maybe another Signet or 2 or a little more card draw, it just seems a little like we're a little bit off. But the power level is extremely high. We have Upheaval, Time Spiral, Tinker, all sorts of stuff. So let's lay this guy out. Juicy Apprentice is not great, but we're just going to need the playable, most likely. We're probably not playing Gifts Ungiven. Definitely not playing Dungeon Ghosts. Turnabout, Time Spiral, Upheaval, Poundcron. Alright, Lion's Eye Diamond will probably not make the deck. Ruby, Sapphire. So take these, put these with the lands. Mindstone. Crucible doesn't really do anything in our deck. Metalworker, Power Stone. Smokestack is not great. Dynamo, Lotus, Jar, Battlesphere. So that is only 20 cards. We are going to be splashing our Electrolyze. It's a free splash. And we're going to need to add at least 2 cards, if not 3. I like to play 16 lands in my cube decks because they're much more akin to constructed decks, and you just don't really need that many lands. Especially if your mana base is good. We're almost mono blue, so this is kind of awkward. Gifts Ungiven is not very good in our deck. It like we don't really have a gifts pile that I would like to make without either losing some of our good cards or just getting 4 lands or something stupid like that. It's possible we could play the green, but our mana fixing is not even there at all. And one of the most important things about cube drafts is that your mana base is going to determine what you can play. If we had 1 Tropical Island, we'd probably be playing green. Or a Tropical Island in a breeding pool, or a Tropical Island and 2 fetch lands, but we don't. And if you can't cast your spells, you're going to lose. Probably one of the problems I have in my previous deck, where I had a Taiga and a fetch land or 2, but the mana wasn't good enough. I also had that problem earlier with another deck, and you can't afford to have mana problems in a format like this. So we need to add some stuff to our deck. It looks like Dungeon Geist is going to make the cut, which is unfortunate because it is literally not even close to anything we're trying to do. It's going to turn on the removal. It's just very, very bad. But, I mean, don't have many other options. We can play Crucible of Worlds. It's an artifact for Tolarian Academy and Middleworker. If we have our fetch line, it's good, especially with the top. I guess we're playing Crucible. And I guess we can just play 17 lands, because all of these cards stink. I'm not happy about it. I mean, I guess theoretically you could Gifts Ungiven for, like, Everflowing Chalice, Mind Stone, Worn Power Stone, Thran Dynamo or something. That's not very good. Yeah. So, we're definitely a card or two short here. It's possible we should have stayed more on blue. It just sort of is what it is, you know? So I guess we'll just play 17 land. Whatever. We have Compulsive Research, discard lands. We have Frantic Search. We have card draw and stuff, so this is fine. So we can see our deck is mono blue, we're adding the Ruby, the Sapphire, the Academy, 2 duels, and the Flooded Strand. We're not going to play a Mountain, it's not worth it. We have 4 sources for 1 card. And, that's my ones. And the deck looks pretty good. I'm not thrilled with the deck, but this is definitely a good. I give it like a 7.3. Very powerful, not extremely consistent. Though again, I'm also more used to my cube, where a deck like this would be much tighter. There would not be like a Dungeon Geist and a Jushi Apprentice in this deck. My cube is just, again, a little more tighter in general, so you have more playables for a deck like this. So I'm also viewing it from a different lens, where in this cube I think this deck is very, very good. And again, we're just going to turn 2 Tinker People, to be honest, and win half our games at Battlesphere anyway, which is almost less fun. It would have been a lot more fun, actually, if we just not gotten the Battlesphere and had just been tinkering for a Gilded Lotus or Memory Jar, like Pro Tour London or whatever it was, like in 04, like Pro Tour Tinker, before they had silly things like Mirror Battlesphere and Blightsteel Colossus.